as you can probably see from my face. I have this syndrome called Ramsey Hunt Syndrome, and has caused my face to have paralysis. As you can see, this eye is not blinking. I can't smile on this side of my face. This nostril will not move. So there's full paralysis in this side of my face.
Hi lovely viewers, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to investigate the astrological significance behind the facial paralysis that Justin Bieber has been diagnosed with recently, and through the medium of medical astrology we will predict when will Justin Bieber heal his facial paralysis caused by the Ramsey Hunt Syndrome. While we do so, another probability that we will be looking at is the chance of him becoming a father, and how soon is that going to be possible. If you are interested to know more, then keep watching further, and please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so that I can keep bringing you further interesting astrology content. To begin with the analysis, we will first check the astrological birth chart of Justin Bieber to understand and ascertain why is he facing these health challenges right now. So as you see on the screen, this is the birth chart of Justin Bieber, and we are going to juxtapose this with his transit chart to narrow down the timeline and impact of the planetary transits on his health status. To give you a brief description about the differences between a birth chart and a transit chart, which basically is that the moment you are born, the chart that gets drawn on the basis of your planetary alignments in that moment is your birth chart, and this stays static or basically the same all through your life. Now, where the transit charts come into picture is that it is based on the current planetary movements and transits. We understand and predict how these motions of planets affect you, which shows us the effects of such movements on you for a short period of time. And this keeps changing as the planets keep changing signs. As we can see, Saturn's current retrograde transit through the sign of Aquarius is sort of activating Justin's Saturn return. And what this means is that whenever the planet of karmic lessons Saturn transits in a sign similar to that in your birth chart, it activates and triggers Saturn to pay out the karma that it's supposed to inflict onto you. In Justin's case, there's a lot of concentration of energy in his chart that is coinciding with this Saturn return, hence amplifying its impact onto his life. In his natal or birth chart, he has 4 planets conjunct in the 4th house, which are Saturn, Sun, Venus and Mars, all in the sign of Aquarius. Hence, Saturn is now going to impact the significations represented by all of these planets in astrology. But for us, what is more critical is the impact that it is having on his natal Mars. Mars in his chart is not placed well, as it gets debilitated or weak in the house energies emanated in the 4th house, and with its enemy planet Saturn being conjunct in the same house in its own ruled sign of Aquarius makes the situation even murkier for him. Mars is a significator of our physical health, and this gets directly negatively impacted by Saturn's transit over the natal placement of Saturn in his chart, triggering the karma he was supposed to receive pertaining to his physical health. But this Saturn's transit is going to wreak a havoc on his health more so when Saturn transits back into the sign of Capricorn on 12th July 2022. Because then it will transit directly over his natal Mercury, and this is a recipe for disaster. As Mercury in medical astrology signifies the nervous system and face, which sounds exactly like the things causing him an issue with the paralysis. Also, Mercury being at a critical place in his chart by the virtue of being in an anaritic degree or simply the degree of fate in astrology goes to show that he was fated to have this unfortunate event happen. The impact of his health on his mental health and physical well-being is further demonstrated by the transit of the karmic nodes of the moon that is Rahu and Ketu, or the North Node and South Node. Ketu is currently transiting his 12th house, which means directly over his natal placement of Moon in his birth chart, causing him to disassociate with his feelings and pushing his focus onto his disorder and diseases as represented by the 6th house in astrology and the magnifying focus generating energy of Rahu. Also, while we are on the topic of Saturn's transit over his natal Mars and Mercury, causing him to face these health challenges, we will take a deeper microscopic look at why this was a karmically fated event for him. And to do that, we will check the nakshatra placement in his chart, and this certainly gives us the answer that we are looking for. To explain these instances, I would first acquaint you with what nakshatras are in Vedic astrology. So the whole expanse of the 360 degree of the sky is divided into constellations or lunar mansions, and these are called nakshatras. These are lunar mansions as Vedic astrology considers moon signs as pivotal. There are 27 nakshatras which are connected to the 12 natal signs, and these were used to give a fine-tuned and precise prediction. On the top right side of the video, you can see a pop-up for a video on nakshatras that I've made recently, which will help you further understand this concept better. So do check that out too. Saturn is currently transiting through the Dhanishta nakshatra and will do so until 2023. To understand the significance of Dhanishta Nakshatra and how it's impacting his health and music career, as shown on the screen, this nakshatra's symbol is a drum of Lord Shiva and the flute of Lord Krishna. And as this nakshatra's planetary ruler is Mars, it tells us it's intrinsically linked to a person's creative endeavors, especially regarding music. And we know that Justin has had to cancel his tour dates for his new album Justice. Now, when we pull the curtain back from the transiting planets and how it's impacting his birth chart, it becomes crystal clear why he's going through this challenging time in his career and health-wise too. In Justin's chart, his Mars and Mercury both are in the nakshatra of Dhanishta. Hence, Saturn's transit over these planets directly triggers his karma, relating to the challenges with his physical health and nervous system as seen through his facial paralysis diagnosis. This planetary timeline of his health struggle completely aligns itself further as we evaluate his dasha chart. To give a brief synopsis of what a dasha means, is that basically each of the 7 inner planets and the 2 nodes of the moon through your lifespan will rule and dictate certain years of your life. So, by understanding which planet rules those years of your life, we can predict how the general outcome of it would manifest. He is currently going through his subplanetary or Antardasha of Ketu, which is placed in the sign of Taurus in the 8th house in his dasha chart. This confirms his struggles with the facial paralysis, as the second sign of Taurus denotes your face, voice and food intake in astrology, and this being placed in the 8th house of unforeseen changes and transformations shows us that this struggle with facial paralysis is going to continue for him until February 2023, which exactly coincides with the end of the transit of Saturn in Dhanishta Nakshatra over his natal Mars and Mercury, which further confirms that his struggles with the Ramsey Hunt Syndrome will end or get over by February 2023. Also, looking at the Dasha chart tells us that having a kid soon is a very probable outcome from his chart. This is because he's going through the Jupiter Mahadasha, and in astrology, Jupiter is known to be the Jivakarka or giver of life. And this, having a trine aspect to all the planets placed 5 places away from it, shows us that this becomes a greater possibility because 5th house in astrology is the house of children. And moreover, in the current transit of Jupiter, it is right now transiting over his 5th house, further confirming the chances of him becoming a father very soon. I'd say that he has a real chance to welcome a daughter in 2023, but this will also be a possibility until 2025 as Venus subplanetary dasha is running until then. And with this, I come to the end of this video. I hope you took some value out of the content of this video, and if so, then please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, as your support truly means a lot. Also leave a comment about your recommendations for further videos as well. I would love to see what you guys are interested to watch. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you soon with the next one. Until then, take care you all.